Today on the Wise Use Network, we just left City Hall in Cherryville, North Carolina, where they gave a 2 p.m. press conference and had much to say. One of the largest damaged areas is on 1st Street here, and as you can see behind us, this is a main circuit that feeds roughly half the town all the way down to Walmart. And this is probably one of the hardest hit electrically areas in Cherryville, North Carolina.
Yep, Cherryville is working very hard to get things back up and going. Hopefully by tonight, actually, some schools may have power. Yeah,
we'll try to get at least 2 schools maybe up today, maybe tomorrow. There was no definitive timeline on the electrical restoration.
Yes.
So that's still up in the air. But they're working hard. Actually, they said they were a little ahead of schedule. And some of the local area churches are chipping in and lending a hand, as you'll hear in the news conference, with food, oxygen services, that sort of thing.
All right, and currently the fire department is actually working as the command center for this disaster today. So here is the press conference.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dandria Bradley. That's D as in David, A-N-D-R-I-A, last name Bradley. I am the Deputy Communications Director for Gaston County, and I want to thank you all for being here this afternoon. Soon to join me will be Cherryville City Mayor, that is Mayor Beam, H.L. Beam. Also joining me will be City Manager, Mr. Brian Dalton, and Cherryville Fire Department Chief Jason Wolford. So they will make a brief statement as well as answer a few questions at the end, and they will be joining us in just a moment.
You ready? Okay. I'm Mayor of Cherryville, H.L. Bean. This is our City Manager, Brian Dalton. We have Council Member Malcolm Parker. We have our Police Chief, our Fire Chief. We have members from the County Commissioners, Representative Fraley and Representative Kathy Cloninger. We have also Jill Pewitt, a council member, and I'm not sure who these gentlemen are, but they're with the Emergency Management of North Carolina. First of all, I want to thank all of the media for being here. We have been overwhelmed at the support we have had, the outpouring of support we've had from our citizens and surrounding communities. We do appreciate all you have done. I have some things I would like to address to the media. We have a command center that is managed by the Cherryville Fire Department, and it is set up at our local fire department. And what has happened was resulted in an area-wide power outages and over 97 incidents within a 3-hour period has occurred. 1 injury to a civilian was reported with non-life-threatening injuries, and since then he has been released from the hospital and is doing fine. A majority of the damage were trees that had fallen on structures, and it also downed a lot of our power lines. A state of emergency has been declared. Over 100 personnel from multiple agencies have assisted us, and they are Gaston County, Cleveland County, Lincoln County, Mecklenburg County, surrounding fire departments, state, and other public service agencies, including Red Cross and the Gaston County Republican Party. 30 residents were dispatched, and the Red Cross assisted with providing lodging for 4 of them. A shelter has been opened at the Shady Grove Baptist Church at 3240 Tryon Courthouse Road. Our National Weather Service will be on the scene shortly to assist and to declare whether this was actually a microburst or some form of a tornado. Damage assessments are ongoing at this time. We have approximately 55 structures that have been damaged, but that number will continue to change as the assessments progress. Antioch Church has provided 200 chicken plates that will be available at the Cherryville Fire Department for, It is the Cherryville Police Department for any citizen that needs a hot meal. And we still have plenty of personnel on the active scene, and we are asking that our citizens stay out of the area to allow our personnel to work. They cannot do their job if they're completely surrounded by citizens and ongoers. 50% of the power has already been restored, and we want to give our public works and our electrical department especially credit for the fast way they have reacted to this emergency. Additional repairs will continue until all our power has been restored. Treat all power lines as energized if you see such as one of these. Do not touch. Treat all intersections without working traffic lights the same as having four-way stops. So be extremely careful at our intersections because some of our stoplights are still out. Refrain from using 911. They can be overwhelmed as well, unless it is a true emergency. Report any non-emergency requests to 704-435-1730. Now at this time, I have my city manager here, Brian Dalton, as I said. We are open for any questions you would have. If I can't answer them, I'm sure Mr. Dalton can. So does anyone have any questions at this time?
Mayor, have you all seen any damage like this in the past? What would you say based on your end?
Personally, I would say it's the closest thing to Hugo that I have seen. There's damage everywhere. It was not just in one single area. It's 150, 274, 279, Spring Street, Keene Street, Vista Drive. A lot of our neighborhoods have really been devastated by this. And we are working as hard and as fast as we can. It's going to be long hours for our employees, but you know what? Cream always comes to the top, and these people are ready and willing to do anything we ask of them. And we are so proud of our staff for this.
When you just drive around, you see everybody helping everybody. It's like very much something we don't really see much in Charlotte, but we see a lot in the small communities. So can you talk about the residents here and how resilient they've been and how great everyone has been maybe helping each other out?
That's so true. That is. We just have a close-knit community here. Neighbors help neighbors. I know when I first went outside to assess the damage in my neighborhood, my neighbor's house, a tree had fell across the power line, and it actually pulled the whole weatherhead and box out of his house, and his dog was running around. We were trying to catch the dog to keep it from being hit by a car or something. Neighbor across the street had damage to his roof where the shingles have been taken off. There's just so much going on. It's just hard to see it all. You want to see it all, but you don't want to be moving around so much. And I think that was one of our biggest problems last night was the traffic it created. We had scheduled a ball game. Cherryville was in the playoffs for 1A baseball, and so there was a lot of traffic already out just when this hit, and that presented a problem for our city also.
Could you maybe talk about if this damage we're seeing now is comparable to what we saw back in the 70s when the tornado recruits area? Do we know anything about that, or if it looks the same?
Yes, I do remember that, and it's very similar. Very similar, not to the extent it was with Hugo because it was so widespread. It was from Charleston all the way through Charlotte and all the way up to Cherryville. And yes, we did have a lot of damage and probably more widespread than this is, but this is certainly a tragic incident for our city, and we're going to try to get it cleaned up as fast as we can.
When you say 97 incidents, are you saying that emergency responders received 97 calls within 3 hours? And is that a lot?
That would be correct. We received about 97 calls for trees on houses, cars, whatnot, in about a 3-hour period.
Is that a lot for Cherryville?
Yes.
And you have to remember too, some of those could be duplicate calls. Like one neighbor could call for the same tree down. and another neighbor call, and it's for the very same tree. But there was 97 calls that came into the command center.
Were you able to rescue anybody from their homes or cars yesterday, and if so, how many?
To my knowledge, there was one individual that was inside of a car that they had to get out, but that's all I know of that had to be rescued.
One of their council members that isn't here is Gary Freeman, and he was at the ball game, and they announced that there was going to be a delay in the baseball game starting of it, so he decided to go home. Well, he's in his pickup truck. He said, I pulled in my driveway. I have a carport, but my wife wasn't at home, so he said, I think I'll just pull off to the side and give her room to use the carport. And immediately after that, the tree broke, fell on his car, and is completely torn it up. He said it went in on the passenger side, and he said it's a tremendous amount of damage to his vehicle.
Out of all this damage, you said only one person injured that you know of, one person that hit by the tree?
That's correct.
And he has been released.
And he has been released from the hospital. Mike, do you have something?
I just want to know if you have any kind of an extrapolation of time frame for things.
Okay, of course, our priority is getting our schools back in service. And I've been told that it's a possibility that we can get 2 of the 4 back up, but Brian may want to give me an update on that. We don't have power, so of course they can't go right now.
Yeah, we currently have about 50% of our customers still out of power. The 4 schools in town, we believe 2 of them we might can get back up, but we don't know at this point.
You mean tomorrow?
Today,
So
But-
they would have class tomorrow?
possibly, but that'll have to be a decision that's made later in the day.
And I'm sure it also deals with how far the buses have to go and if they have clear roads to get to the schools. So.
Is there anything that people not in Cherryville can do for you guys? Like someone like looking at homes in Charlotte or whatever, is there any assistance they can bring or do from town?
Just continue to pray for Cherryville.
Yes, it's in God's hands from here, and it was at the time of the tragedy. But we're very resilient, as I said. We will make it through this, and I have confidence in our city. I have confidence in our employees. Like I said, all you got to do is tell them to do something, and they're putting their coat or hat on, and they're ready to go. So, and I know there'll be many hours without sleep, and I think we fed over 100 this morning breakfast at the fire department. So we're trying to look after them at the same time while they're doing their job.
What areas are still off as far as power goes?
Primarily, mostly everything east, on the east side. Yes, sir.
And then the man who was injured, is this the same person who was trying to help a mom and his daughter get out of the car?
That's my understanding. It was down at our Dixie softball field where it happened, I believe.
But I did watch one of the news media, and I can't tell you which one it was, at lunchtime, and they actually interviewed the guy. And he's home, he's doing well, no brain damage that they could tell, no leakage of blood into the brain. He's got staples in the back of his head, he's got lacerations multiple places on his face, his nose is broken, but other than that, he's in good spirits. So that's just one example of how our people come to deal with things that this tragic.
Have you been to any schools overflows, pump stations or anything?
No, sir, not at this time. Our guys have been out at all the pump stations throughout the day and throughout the night, and at this time we've not had any.
You mentioned roads mostly in the east were closed. Do you have a number equated to how many roads are closed in the city?
Well, I don't know about roads, but most of our power outage is on the eastern side of town.
And who would you recommend?
The shelter's mostly been set up for any individuals that have medical conditions, if they're on oxygen, if they, take dialysis at home and they need power and they currently don't have it. We have Shady Grove Baptist Church set up for those individuals to be able to go there.
Will that be open all night?
That's my understanding, yes. I'd hate to guess at this point. We have several crews up here that are working continuously. I will say that the individuals I've talked to say that it is moving faster than they expected it to.
Regarding the crews, are they all from like Charlotte?
We have the city of Gastonia up here helping, Far City is helping, utility services is helping, and then our crews.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, again, from the city of Cherryville, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support, and we're going to get through this, I promise. Thumbs up.
And reporting from Cherryville, North Carolina for the Wise News Network, I'm Rusty Wise.
And I'm Jermaine Gash.
And stay tuned for more developing stories like this. Jermaine, how can they get a hold of us?
Yes, guys, do not forget to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook for all your local news coverage. We really appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.